Hello everybody and welcome to Michion's World of Tanks channel. Today I'll be doing a little review about the new tank, the rheinmetall Skorpion G. Now this tank, doesn't even have the vehicle details. This tank I playing it not that much. I've only played about 20-30 games in the thing. It seems to be a very um, I want to call it a tier 8 gorilla because this thing it's much more like the gorilla than like the rheinmetall borzing. Okay, this is essentially the tier 8 um, the tier 8 tank that is comparable to the gorilla 15. And if we take a look here at the stats of both machines, we'll see that they are very similar. Okay, the guns are both marked by their excellent dispersion and aiming time, which is on the gorilla obviously superior, but still. They both have very similar gun depression and elevation angles. They both have somewhat slowly rotating turrets, although the gorilla obviously doesn't actually have a turret. It's about 20 degrees to each side. And they both have the same top speed, both forward and in reverse. They both have, where was it? Specific power that is for the gorilla is better, but this is still respectable for a tank destroyer. And they both have, I find, very similar playstyle. Rush, you rush to a position, you take it, you put a shot or two into the enemy, and then you bugger out. Okay. They both actually have very similar camo value. The camo value that you see here is not actually the real camo value of this tank. If I were to take away the crew with the camo, no, so as a camo, recruit a new one. There we go. The camo is actually very similar. It's 11.6. I think for the gorilla it's 8 or something like that. Let's have a look. Yes, 8. Um, so let's take a look at the numbers for a moment and compare this tank to, well, to the main thing that it'll probably be compared to. Let's just go here. Where is my borzing? There's my borzing. Yeah. So this is the non-premium tier 8 tank destroyer. There is of course another one, the Jagdpanzer 2. Jagdpanzer 2, I'm sorry. And let's compare these three tanks, shall we? Now, the rheinmetall Skorpion, obviously, since it's a premium tank, is not supposed to outperform the standard tanks. And yet, um, it seems that it is superior in almost every way. If we take a look here, um, there you go. Except for damage per minute, which it does suffer in, um, the Borzing has a much better damage per minute, as you can see, and this is not with the this is with the 128 millimeter gun. This is not with the 15 centimeter one. And while the rheinmetall Skorpion does, in theory, use the same gun, it has a much longer reload. Okay, if you were to go to the my Borzing, where is it? There it is. My Borzing has 2,954. The Skorpion, let's just re-equip it with the appropriate crew members. There we go. Yes, 2,600. Okay, so it's not as bad, but it's still worse than the Borzing. Now, they both use essentially the same gun. There we go. Oh, sorry. They both use essentially the same gun. although technically the Borzing is a tier 10 and the Skorpion is a tier 9 gun. But as you can see here, the damage is the same, the penetration is the same, both with AP, APCR, and high explosive, exactly the same. I honestly can't, I'm not sure, like this is the gun, the Canone 44, and this is the 43 version. But as you can see, the dispersion 0.3 compared to 0.35, 0.21 accuracy aiming time compared to 2.3. So that's something to notice. Now, obviously, the Borzing, it's practically stealth incarnate. Okay, this thing it's just so hard to see these things. While the Skorpion, even with a full camo crew, isn't even half as well concealed as the Borzing. However, it is much faster than the Borzing. Okay, so the Borzing has, if I'm not mistaken, 35 top speed. That is correct. 35 top speed, 12 in reverse, 60 kph. Okay, this is definitely a Grill 15 characteristic. Um, Other than that, the very impressive speed and the very accurate gun, it doesn't actually have that much going for it, but you don't really need more than that. This thing has no armor whatsoever. This is 30 millimeters here, 16 in the sides, 20 at the rear. This I think is about 10 millimeters. This gun shield, barely a gun shield. It's a paper mache, really. It is very pretty though, the Scorpions. But other than that, it doesn't really have anything going for it. But you don't really need anything for anything else for this tank to work. I will note one thing, however, this thing has an absolutely garbage radio. 400 meters. There are tier 3 tanks in the game that have a better radio than this thing. And it does happen, and you will see it in the replay. It does happen that um, you will not be able to see what's going on the other side of the map because your radio isn't good enough. So I'll now show you a game I've played with a Scorpion that pretty much showcases everything good about this tank, and you'll see what I mean. Now in this assault game on Corellia, as you can see, I am top tier. This is a defensive game. I am on the defending team. There are 3 artillery in each team, and at first I thought this was one of the first games I've played on Scorpion, and at first I figured to myself, well, deadly gun, very accurate, good penetration, gonna use it as a sniper, and it does work as a sniper. The Scorpion definitely works as a sniper, no question about it. It definitely has the accuracy. At tier 8, it does have the penetration to deal with the kind of armor, and I've been spotted by that bulldog. There's a bit of a comedy going on here. You'll see it in a moment. The 1357 pretty much emptied his magazine. 13 at 12. I'm actually gonna pause the video here. There. Now the AMX killed the bulldog. Now look, watch the AMX 1357. He crashed and killed himself, didn't he? And this is what happens when you don't land on your tracks, essentially. When you don't land on your tracks, your hull takes the impact, and you can lose a lot of HP if you land on your hull. Now, take a look at our T-34 over here. I was thinking of going over to help him, and then all kinds of targets popped up on the other side of the map. As you can see, IS-3. And, well, I had to stay and take a shot at the IS-3. Now, watch the accuracy. That AT-8 has a pretty accurate gun. He's been shooting at that IS-3, not really hitting him. First shot fired, hit, penetrated, side of the turret of an IS-3. This is a very good gun. It does, however, seem to have very, very bad gun handling on the move, which is something to pay attention to. Um, it's very difficult to hit something while you're on the move, not even full speed. Even if you're on the move for 20 kph, you will rarely hit anything on the move. So that is something to pay attention to that you will not see in the garage. And second shot, bullseye. This now again, I'm gonna pause the video. Take a look at the Leopard light tank going over here. If you're defending in Corellia, you always need someone to cover this side, and you'll see why in a moment. I was actually not spotted there. What happened was the 88 got spotted while firing because he has less camo than me, and the T28 prototype took a shot at the 88 and missed, and it actually hit me. Pay attention to the Leopard again. I pretty much just noticed him, and I was yeah, too late. I noticed that he was actually spawning me. And again, the turret reverse of this tank is not very good. That's one of the downsides. It has pretty low turret reverse, but it does have very good hull reverse. So you can make it work if you turn the turret and the hull at the same time. But again, very poor. And yeah, after saying that, you're not going to hit anything on the move, full speed. But yes, while you're traversing your hull, you will lose a lot of accuracy. Okay, so it's very hard to snap shots if you're moving both your hull and your turret. This Skorpion is not doing it the right way. This is not an assault tank. Okay, you just don't have the health pool. You don't have the health pool, and you don't have the armor to deal with being an assault tank like something like the Ferdinand, the Jagdpanzer E100, the Jagdtiger to some degree. But now I'm kind of pinned down. Okay, so far I've only done 2,000 damage, which is respectable, but it's far from what this thing can do. Notice we're losing 9-5 at the moment. This does not look like it's going to be a very good game. And then, yep, this is just with 2.8 accuracy or 2.9 accuracy on this tank with a fully trained crew, you will be able to just take shots like that and be fairly confident that they will hit and damage the enemy tank. Now, our 88 is pretty much alone over there. I'm actually going around to help him against that Super Pershing, and he's yelling for help, and I am on my way. But pay attention to the Lorraine 15550 over here. What is he doing? He got spotted, by the way. The 88 saw him. There's also a Hellcat that's about to charge him down, and he won't be of much use in the following moments. But this Super Pershing, just watch what I can do to this Super Pershing in this machine. Side of the turret, boom. The gun has 490 average damage, same as the Warzing, same penetration, but again, much higher aiming time, and he missed, and accuracy. And another thing is, because it has a 20 kph reverse speed, you can allow yourself to do things like this, like peekabooing, which you can't really do with the Warzing because it's so slow and it doesn't have a very good power to weight ratio. And I just took apart that Super Pershing, didn't take a single point of damage. In fact, the only damage I took in this game was from that T28 prototype who actually missed the shot. It didn't intend to hit me at all, but he missed the shot at the 88 and it hit me, which was lucky of him. We're not losing as heavily now. We're losing 10-9, which isn't that bad. But as you can see, everyone's pretty scarcely spread. And now The T-34 got nuked, and I was trying to put a shot into these two tank destroyers. Unfortunately, the 88 angled himself just as I pulled the trigger, and it actually went into his side armor, heavily angled side armor. And now I'm making a little bit of a mistake, okay? We know that there are two tank destroyers over there, the Hellcat and the 88. Now, I just took a shot at them, so I know they have a shot at me. But I was a little bit panicky at this point because 912, not going too well. But just pay attention to the mistake I'm making here, okay? Just so you won't do it yourself. Approach T28, don't quite have a shot. Boom. And now, pay attention. 1, that was the 88. 2, again from the 88. The Hellcat fortunately moved, so he wasn't in a position to take a shot at me. Otherwise, I would be dead, and it would be a game over for me. But fortunately, it was only the 88. 88 doesn't really have much in the ways of alpha damage, so I was able to survive that. The Hellcat actually killed the 88, so that tells us something about his position. He's likely to be over here somewhere. Now, what I'm thinking right now, pay attention to the clock. I'm thinking that I could, with the very, very good top speed of this tank, I could go over here and snipe the T-28. Doesn't fully work. He saw me just as I was crossing this part here that has no bushes. Like I said, this thing doesn't really have much camo. It's not a very stealthy machine. And when it's moving, it has even less camo. So what can you do? Now there's 2 minutes of this game left, okay? And the Ferdinand actually managed to kill the Hellcat. Now, I have no idea whatsoever what that M12 was doing over there. But another kill. Notice, by the way, I have 4,500 damage done already. One thing I will note, I'm actually noticing this now, this thing. It's hard to say it has a low ammunition capacity, but you can't go wasting shots at things you're not likely to hit. I've hit with 10 shots. I think I fired 11 shots in this game, and I only have 16 shots left. Well, only, but it's important to pay attention to that. You can't just go wasting shots like in things like the Centurion, Action 10, and the 7-1 that can afford to shoot pretty much constantly for half the game and not run out of rounds. Now, I've elected to hide in this point of the game. Just notice the clock. Okay, there's no reason whatsoever to risk myself and this game for doing one more hit and possibly dying. It's much better in this kind of situation for me that I'm a one shot to pretty much everything, to just use my speed, use my maneuverability, and hide. There's only 15 seconds of the game left. Now, as you can see, as I mentioned about the radio, I did not see what these guys were doing. I can't see where the Ferdinand is at the moment because of the poor radio on this tank. I am capable of seeing it now, so it's not terrible, but it's hard to manage sometimes. And that was the Skorpion in a replay. And as you can see, pretty good results. 115,000 credits earned, 1,700 base 1,700 experience. I will say people are doing very well in this thing. For that performance to only be a second class mastery badge, that was 4,500 damage done with 4 kills. And amusingly, I actually blocked a shot there, 70 damage blocked. I have no idea. Maybe the Leopard. But yes, this is actually turning out to be a very, very profitable machine. Most tier 8 premium tanks are very profitable, but this one in particular is very good for making money. Somewhat of a shame for the T-28 prototype, who did have a fairly decent game, but he got outplayed. There's no other way of saying it. And that's it for me today. If you like this content, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.